I don't like when you
I counted it down. I went 3, 2, 1. Now we're recording.
I don't like when you count it down. It makes me nervous.
Why?
It's like building up to something, and it's like.
Well, it's building up to our podcast. We're recording now.
I
People can
really
hear
don't
this.
like your tone.
Building up to greatness at DynastyWise.com.
Hey everyone, it's Jeffro. I'll be your host today. We're going to be talking rookie wide receivers of the 2018. I'm on someone like 3 years. Hey, man, these guys were 220, 2021. Like, hey, who are these guys?
Right.
That guy's a veteran. But in any case, hey, please check us out at DynastyWise.com. There we go. We got articles, we got rankings, and we're constantly adding to the website. You can find us at Facebook as well. Come on, like the page. Eventually, we will be doing a Carolina Reaper Challenge because we got so many followers now. But let me introduce the people who are going to be with me. To my left, it's the homicidal, genocidal. It's Padu.
Hey guys, let's get in. Hey, just so you know, on the website, check out the triple threats. It's just a quick overview of the top performing NFL players fantasy wise on each team. It's a good little series that we've drummed up a little bit of interest in, and check it out. So we haven't gone back and updated, but it's in alphabetical order. So, but yes, let's get in it. You can ask on the mic.
The store's open?
The store's not open
Okay.
yet. Not yet. We do have some shirts printed though.
I wasn't sure.
That we will be handing some of those.
Good job, Brian.
We will be. He got a bunch of them made. We've got.
Good job, Brian.
Yeah. Brah.
And then over here, it's the Twitter master. Surprised he's on Twitter being Amish, but it's Clay. Clay, what's up?
You know my Ramadan's lasting the rest of the...
I was going to ask about that. I guess he's still in Ramadan.
Yeah.
Are you still in Ramadan?
Yeah.
You mean Rumspringa?
Yeah, Rumspringa.
It's like, what, he became a Amish
Ramadan's
Muslim?
the Muslim. Sorry, about different conversation earlier, but yeah,
They're going to
Rumspringa.
shut up on.
Yeah, I just figured, lifelong Rumspringa.
Why don't you plug the Twitter handles, you and Joe and Chad? And
Follow at DynastyWise_FF. And then at DynastyWise Clay, at DynastyWise Joe, and at DynastyWise Chad. We're semi-active. No, we're really active. We do what we can on Twitter. Anything you want or need, just ask, and we normally reply right away.
Yeah, we actually just had one of our customers come through and was looking for advice on his draft and all that, and we helped him out, which was awesome.
yeah, thank you.
We're glad. We were real happy to help him out.
Yeah, Damon.
Yeah,
Damon.
Yeah, Damon.
Damon came in with the auction. We're like, we're more Dynasty.
Yeah.
And I started looking it up. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah, he's cool. He's a real. I love. He always has some great questions. He's got some good input too. It's cool. That's what it's all about though. Is just trading that info, man.
Mm-hmm.
Damon's a day one.
Yeah, right.
That's my boy.
Oh yeah.
You're my boy, Blue. All right, let's get into these wide receivers.
Get in.
Let's go to the AFC South, and let me get your takes on DJ Chark. Chark. However y'all say it.
Yeah, it's
Shark, apparently, but
Yeah,
it should
Shark.
be right.
not,
CH makes it
not,
ch.
not going to be working here anymore.
Anyway, Pat, DJ Chark.
I mean, landing in Jacksonville is actually a pretty good spot. And Clayton had a great article on Blake Bortles. That's what they really needed was someone to really burn it. That's what they were missing. They've got that. I feel like that's what Blake Bortles has been kind of missing is that weapon. Steve Smith, ever since he left and all that, granted, that was years ago, I get it. But that's kind of been one of their biggest missing pieces. Now, I thought they had it with, what's his name? Their other draft pick. I'm sorry.
Their other draft pick?
Yeah, years ago. They
Marquise Lee or who?
Marquise Lee was
No,
one.
they did draft Blackman.
Yeah, Blackman.
But he
Yeah.
couldn't. He
just that's what they thought. I mean, and I don't think that's going to be the situation here. I think Chark should come out and produce and all that. He's definitely in the I would venture to say the top 10.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, but he's not. He's definitely not my number one. But he is a great wide receiver that we should be discussing a lot of conversations going on, especially dynasty wise.
Yeah, I like you said, the landing spot, and it's all about opportunity. Yeah, he's going to compete with Keenan Cole and Marquise Lee and
D.D. Westbrook.
D.D. Westbrook, who I like, but injury and off field, and I think they found someone that Blake Bortles can rely on. I mean, Blake Bortles isn't elite, fantasy wise, but he's solid and good. But maybe with someone like Chark, he can move up.
Yeah.
You know,
It sounds like you're saying shart.
Just short.
well, hopefully he doesn't end up being a shark.
And I'm hoping this guy's a good dude, and that it is not the nickname he picks up.
Right.
But it's looking that way.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Being Texans fans, that might be the name we give him.
Definitely. Well, I mean, let's look at this. I mean, he's a speed guy. He's a deep threat. Obviously, we know what Jacksonville wants to do. They want to run the ball. So you got basically what I think are possession receivers there. And now you get the speed guy. If you're giving the ball to Fournette all along, eventually if you run a play action, you know, it's like, yeah, put 8 men in a box, and we're going to put Chark. I'm just going to call him DJ because simply Chark.
That's fine.
You know, so, but that's my take.
Yeah, there's definitely potential there, and that's exactly it. I mean, I think that's why Blake Bortles has fallen in a lot of the fantasy positions that he has. You know, number 4, number 10, number 14. I mean, he's up there. He's been in the top, 10 to 15. I mean, he's a good producing fantasy quarterback. But I think that's what it's been, is the fact that they're maximizing the potential for when he does throw the ball that he's set up. And I think that's what this is going to happen here, is with Fournette coming in and all that. It's going to set up that deep threat, because they're going to have to cheat up to look at Fournette, and that's gonna open up that deep threat, especially with a burner like Chark.
Oh yeah, and he is a burner, but don't underestimate his size. You know, he's 6'3", 200. You know,
that's what's amazing.
But
to me.
you know, he's gonna bulk up in the NFL. You know, everybody puts on weight once they get in the NFL training program. So I mean, he's got all the tools you want in a receiver, and it sucks that he's over there.
Yeah,
you know,
right? Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on. Let's travel. Let's get in the bus and travel to the Mile High Stadium. And Denver gets a guy that was considered top 10 draft pick, Courtland Sutton, huge guy. What do you got, Clayton?
Yeah, big guy. You know, 6'4", 218, 220. What, depending where you look, you know, he might even be 2 inches smaller or taller wherever you're finding his stats nowadays. But in Denver, they still got Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, and was it D'Angelo Henderson or Thompson, whatever they had, another young guy last year. And yeah, Case Keenum had a good year last year in Minnesota. I'm not sure. I'm not necessarily sold that it's going to happen again. So I get why you give him the weapons, but I'm not sure he's going to have the year, honestly, everybody's expecting out of him. And my rule normally with wide receivers and most pass catchers is it takes like 2 years normally.
Really?
I think most times it just takes them a couple years unless they're just that good. And like even last year, Corey Davis was highly touted just like Sutton. Yes, he was injured a little bit, but I don't think he was all that. But then you had guys later like a Juju and Cooper Kupp, and they were your top producing wide receivers.
Yeah, Mike Williams was out there too.
Exactly.
Yeah, he injury as well.
And you can't, do injuries. Like, I love Sutton's size, but coming from SMU, smaller school, doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I think I'm just not sold on Denver as a team right now, and with the people in front of him is.
I agree, and you'd mentioned it earlier, and you hit the nail on the head. It's about opportunity, and Case Keenum has the opportunity. They're building weapons around him, and so does Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton has the opportunity to come out of there, and with the other receivers that are there, to me, I'm not saying he's going to be wide receiver 1, but he has potential to be that sleeper to where he's going to be open to be able to pull some decent yardage and some points. They are building something. I'm not sold on him yet. I think they're in the process of building it. And I think getting the receiver, Case Keenum, I don't know if he's the permanent fix. I think he's going to be a Band-Aid, but he's definitely has the potential. And look what he did in Minnesota last year when he had the opportunity.
Right.
And granted he's starting there. I think if he's given the opportunity, week 4, I think Case Keenum does very well. I think if he starts the season as a quarterback, I don't think he's going to be, for some reason, I don't know why that is, but I think he maybe chokes under that kind of pressure. But I think Courtland Sutton has every bit of potential to be able to open it up.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially, Demaryius Thomas is getting older, but he's still their number 1. Sanders still produces at a high rate. But, he shows up in camp. There's potential, and who knows? That could be Keenum's guy. And then you have no choice but to put him on the field.
Jeff, it seems you disagree.
What makes Case Keenum good is guys like you. He feeds off that negativity.
I like the dude. Hey, I'm not saying I don't like him. I like the dude. I love his fighter. I love his, Rocky Balboa mentality, you know.
Look at it this way. Whether you like Casey Keenum or not as a quarterback, he's now got 2 giant receivers where he can get away. He doesn't have to be the most accurate passer. You know, maybe I don't even know if Joe Flacco can overthrow those guys, but yeah, I think you know we're really not supposed to be talking quarterbacks,
No,
but I
that's
think
okay. But there's a big
Keenum's
part of
getting
it.
a weapon, and I think Sutton's gonna do well in Denver because the running game is questionable at the moment.
Well, I mean,
Wouldn't that be a negative on the passing game then? If you're
Not
not,
if they're forced to throw it.
but if they know you're throwing it,
Run sets up the pass sets up the run.
it could. But if you're one dimensional and nothing,
well, look what Keenum did in Minnesota, where he
Yeah.
had 2 solid wide receivers, a decent running game, and a decent line. I mean, there's potential there. Again, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's set up to where Case Keenum walked into a winning situation to where, and especially bringing Courtland. That's where I think there's potential with Sutton.
Right.
Is the fact that you have Demarius and you have Sanders over there. To me, that wide receiver 3 is open.
Right.
You know, to where that he can. I'm not saying he's going to be every down. Obviously, but there's a potential for him to break it off.
especially since the NFL is a passing league, 3 wide, 4 wide constantly. So I mean, I'd see him getting on the field, but
The rules are a joke
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
yeah.
that's-
So I mean, I guess I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't live up to the hype this year, but I'm not saying he won't.
Yeah.
He could be the 2 year.
You think okay?
Yeah, I just think sometimes it's some of them there's just some receivers I'm going to take above him is really all I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I can't argue that.
Well, let's go down to Carolina and let's talk about my favorite wide
Favorite?
receiver. Yeah, I know, right?
Favre.
Favre.
Favre. High five going on.
On it.
It was a weak high five, but
It was.
We got short arms.
short arms. Oh,
That's better.
yeah, that was a good one. But I like the guy. He was my number 1 guy in the draft. He was the first wide receiver to go in the draft, so teams finally were listening to me and got it right.
About damn time.
Yeah, I mean, I called them. I said, "Look, take him." You think? And I was like, "Yes, take him."
That's what
You know?
Carolina did. They're like, hey, let's call Jeff.
Jeff
Well,
at
let's-
Dynasty
let's-
Wise knows exactly.
Well, I met them
Yeah.
when I was at the combine. I was
Yeah,
talking
that's
to a lot
right.
of people. So
I
I
forgot
gotcha.
we let you go down there.
yeah, I went there. And,
Jeff won the vote.
yeah, I pulled the short straw.
Why were you high on him?
Why? I like his size. I like his speed. I like his athleticism. Just talking about him in college, he just played well against everyone. And I just think if he gets in an NFL team that can really give him coaching, he was just my number 1 guy. Size, speed, athletic, all that I said, and he's looked great in camp. And so, but that's pretty, look, this is my take on him.
No, that's all right.
Take him.
Yeah.
If you're doing a dynasty draft, starting a dynasty draft, or you're continuing your dynasty draft, more continuing.
Yeah.
Your
Because
rookie
you
draft.
could take some older receivers
Yeah.
before DJ Moore, but DJ Moore should go in the first round.
And you're most
He
most
should be the
relief.
first receiver drafted.
I think so.
That's hard to argue.
And Carolina's a good landing spot for him as well. They're doing some good things over there, and Cam Newton's again goes back to quarterback. Having him the quarterback that he is and all that. I mean, there's a lot of potential over there. The run game's solid. Cam Newton extends the plays, and that's where I think DJ Moore is going to have a lot of credibility. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. It's a bold prediction, but I honestly think that when Cam Newton extends the plays and all that, I think it's going to be DJ Moore is going to be his target that he goes to, to get him out of a bind if he's rolling out or something like that. I think that's where DJ Moore is going to have the biggest impact and get those extra yards instead of those 15, 20-yard plays. Those are going to be those 35, 40-yard
He
plays.
could be their new Steve Smith.
Yeah, I cannot. That's what I look at, and I can't argue with Jeff. It's kind of an argument, not an argument, but kind of the 1-2 spot. But I definitely like DJ Moore. I would have liked for him to land, maybe somewhere else. I think he could have had a bigger impact, but I do like where he landed. I'm not saying, to me, he's not my definite number 1. If he had landed, to me, maybe in Atlanta or something like that, it would be a no-brainer, number 1. But I do like that. I do like him, though. I do like the pick.
I like him as well. And last time they gave Cam Newton $100 a high drafted receiver was Kelvin Benjamin, and he had a really good
He had a
rookie
great-
year.
yeah.
So I'm not saying that they're not. Benjamin's huge. Two different guys, but I like.
He's a tight end.
Yeah, like a lot of people, like Jeff said, he's his number one receiver, but a lot of your experts or whatever you want to see,
Like me.
besides Jeff,
Thank
they were
you.
all saying DJ Moore was the number one receiver, and it showed at the combine, and the game tape. Maryland, not the best team to play for, but
That was, I think that was one of the main knocks. Is it was
Yeah.
a smaller school, but
I mean, let's face it, though. I mean, Joe Montana played for a small school. And if anyone knows what college Joe Montana played for, Clayton does, Notre Dame.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
thought
got
you
know
guys-
your face.
yeah, I
I'm
was
like,
like-
what do you mean small school?
yeah,
yeah, I was-
yeah,
Well, I think Dan Marino played for Pittsburgh.
yeah.
yeah.
But I mean the
That's,
same.
yeah, Pitt. Yeah, that's why he didn't want to ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, in his
But I go with
20-year
DJ
career.
Moore. I'll take
Yeah.
DJ Moore. First round. There's probably like drafting your dynasty rookie. Most of the time you want your running backs, but you might if your receivers are scoring better, then
Yeah.
you go receiver and based on team needs. But there's quite a few running backs I'm taking, but first receiver wise, DJ Moore.
He's definitely the ones, and and I've said it before. I'm not a big wide receiver guy in the first round,
Okay.
but I do like him.
Well, you can continue. But Pat, let's go to a guy you are really high on. Let's go to Atlanta and talk Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, see, Calvin Ridley, the big one there is where he landed. That's why I liked him, because that was, to me, I think,
Stop.
what?
You like him in Atlanta where they got Sanu and they got Julio Jones.
Yep. I
You
don't
think he? All right.
I th-
Question.
Yep,
Will he produce this year?
he will.
Okay.
He
All
will.
right. All right.
And
Continue.
because to me, I know he has Sanu, and I know he has Julio Jones, and those are. I mean, Julio Jones is a great wide receiver. I'm not completely sold on Sanu. He's
For real.
he's okay. I mean, he's a good wide receiver too. He's a good, but I think Calvin really is going to take over that spot. But I feel like Matt Ryan had an off year last year, and it was kind of a knock. He's still an elite quarterback, and there's been a lot of knocks on him about it. But to me, you bring in Calvin Ridley, and the way Matt Ryan is able to spread that ball around and get to his receivers, I feel like he has potential. 1,000-yard season, I'm not sure about that. But I could venture to say, 700-800 yards with, throwing a few TDs. I think he's going to have a good, productive rookie year, a lot more than what is normally going to be expected with the wide receivers that are in place, because it is Matt Ryan. And I'm a firm believer in Matt Ryan having a rebound year, and he's got something to prove. I don't think he's going to go the Joe Flacco route to where, he gets the big deal and he starts, tanking. Yeah, he's already started his retirement plan.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Matt Ryan. I think they lost Taylor Gabriel, right?
Yeah.
So that production's got to be replaced. Matt Ryan's 4,500, 5,000 yard passer, 25, 30 touchdown a
Yeah.
year, quarterback.
Very capable.
That's
Absolutely,
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Passing league, 3 wide. You're still gonna have Sanu Jones, and I think Jones and Sanu actually will help Ridley be more productive until they catch on to him being better than Sanu.
I agree with that, and especially with the running game. They still have a solid running game over there. I mean, they've, Freeman's still
Yeah,
over there. Not
Freeman and
competing.
Coleman,
They're still knocking people
Their
down.
offense is there,
you
and
know.
Ridley, he route runner, great route runner, and I like the combo.
See, he's the one I like. And honestly, I like DJ Moore as well. To me, if I'm going to spend a first round pick, which we talked about before, I'm not a big wide receiver first round guy. I've just been burned too many times. The people that do it, I'm not knocking them. It's just my strategy. But these are a couple of them that I would be willing to take in the first round, if not with one of my first picks.
Right.
Is there a problem? And I'm not taking anything away from Ridley. I agree with everything you said. His route running is impeccable. He's solid. He has that it factor. Not an it factor like, like a Sterling Sharp or a Julio Jones, but he had an it factor, and he has an it factor like Jerry Rice. Like, he just gets the job done and does it well. Of course, I'm not saying he's going to be Jerry Rice. He could.
Bold prediction.
Bold prediction. He will defeat all Jerry Rice records. But my question is, are there too many weapons? You got 2 good running backs. You got, Hooper at tight end, who's solid, and then you got the 2 receivers. Does all those weapons, does that hurt Ridley?
That's a great
It's
argument.
a brilliant question. I know. Thank you.
It is a good argument against it, but I'm going to say no. It may affect some. Being his rookie year, it's actually good to have that because then the spotlight's not on him, and he's not thrust into that. Where he's got to perform right now. He does
Good
have some
point.
time, but you look at the greats. The great wide receivers that are still active: Tom Brady, Drew Brees. Those guys are able to.
Did you say wide receiver?
Yeah,
Did
those are
I?
quarterbacks.
Sorry, guys, my bad.
You just think the two slowest quarterbacks also. Little 5'9" Drew Brees going out. Brady who dropped the pass in the Super Bowl.
I'm hoping the corner so they give him a 5-yard
Yeah,
behind
right.
him, but the elite quarterbacks. Matt
Right.
Ryan is up there. They spread the ball around, and their whole team is productive. That's where I feel that Calvin really has potential to do it. But back to my point on the fact that he doesn't have the spotlight on him is big. They're looking. They know him a rookie. They got him. They drafted him early. So I think with them drafting him early, they're saying, "All right, kid, we are going to put the spurs to it." But at the same token, you do have some good people around you to help you out and support you.
Well, you brought him in, and Julio Jones is holding out. I normally don't like guys holding out, but he's kind of got a case when Sammy Watkins dies, paid wide receiver or something like that.
Sammy Watkins screwed it up.
Well, it's
for a
all
lot of
about when the
people.
deal gets done. He just got a
Yeah.
deal done. He gets paid a lot, and then these other guys are, you can't sign a deal and then be like in 2 years, oh no, I'm holding out until you.
I don't get mad at the players anymore. I get mad at the owners. You're the ones that signed them. Don't complain.
Yeah.
Same as them though. If you sign your contract, I'm just saying like
Oh, I agree with you.
I think yes, if you sign a contract and but I think 2 years it's like oh well he's getting paid $1 or $2 million more than me, But I'm all in. I like Ridley, but yeah, I like Ridley.
I like it. All right, down in Arizona, we got Christian Kirk out of A&M. Clayton, what do you got on him?
Kirk's was one of my favorite wide receivers coming into the draft. Not the spot I really would have loved to see him go to San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo and in Shanahan's offense in my dream world. But in Arizona, it really ain't the worst spot. He's gonna. They have Bradford, but he's there to grow with Rosen. They've already got the
been
rapport.
connecting, yes.
He's got Larry Fitz to show him the ropes, and outside of that, how much competition does he have at receiver? Jaron Brown, John Brown,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to call it competition.
exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So I think you're looking at Kirk. He could be one of your. I think just based on opportunity and what's competition wise, he could be getting a lot of playing time. So he could be one of your highest producing rookie wide receivers. So to me, you want Ridley, DJ Moore. I got Kirk in that conversation as well. I might take DJ Moore, but with Ridley and Kirk, I like Ridley, but Kirk, I might take it ahead of him.
And that's a good point. I don't want to. I hope I'm not stepping
No,
on your
you're good.
toes because I want to reiterate that too because I like that. That's a really good point you bring up is the fact that Kirk is in a position that's different from Ridley because there aren't other receivers. He's got Larry Fitzgerald, who I don't know the way he's looking, he could go for 10 more years, but Larry Fitzgerald may be on his way out. In the next year or two, and that's where he's going to be able to step up into that role. Because John Brown, I bless the guy. Yeah. It's just it's not going to be his. Now, there's obviously some other people that could come out, but it's again the opportunity that's there for him to take it. And there's a lot of growth, and Arizona's doing some decent things. They're getting David Johnson back this year. That's another weapon. Again, like Jeff said, the run opens up the pass opens up the run. It goes both ways. So I think that's another opportunity. Them getting that back is going to help out tremendously.
Yeah, and like you said, you can't predict injuries, but the chances of Bradford going down again are very high, and Rosen will be in there.
I'm going to say 90%.
yeah, and that's sad. But
Who's going to say it this time?
What?
No, that's not a bold prediction. What is
No.
it? My old prediction.
Obvious prediction.
There you go.
And I mean that. All right, here's my bold prediction.
Yeah.
90% in the first 2 games. I don't think he'll make it to game 3. I think Rosen might beat him out.
You think so? Straight out of
I
camp?
never thought Bradford was a great quarterback.
he's actually healthy.
He's a great backup quarterback, and he's an average NFL quarterback.
He's actually pretty good.
All right.
He was on a crappy Rams team at first, but without his injuries, Bradford can make all the throws. But that's
Rosen's going to beat him out. That's my prediction.
I don't think they want Rosen to play not early.
Well, they don't have to play him until he gets 90%.
Week 4, Rosen might be out.
You better be.
I know you're saying week 3. He'll be
I'm telling you,
starting.
that's what their mantra right now. Hey, Rosen, you're gonna be ready week 3, man.
Bradford's like, Coach, why is he getting first team reps? Sam, really? But
Sam,
yeah,
you're limping. You just got Gatorade. Come on.
yeah, I love Christian Kirk. Like I said, I think he could easily basically step in and be wide receiver 2 next to Fitz
Yeah, there's a lot of
from
potential
day
there.
one.
All right, let's go to our Houston Texans expert, and it's Clay, the homer. You always have that homer guy who likes to get one team on their things. Clay's not too bad, but he definitely wants Texans.
We've got a pretty decent following here in Houston anyway. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's important for
Yeah,
them to
so
hear
we'll
our-
sit
you know,
on it.
I'm talking about where you draft and then you want to trade for.
He just invited you to sit on it.
Who wouldn't trade for Deshaun Watson though?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, well, you're dumb.
Well, I don't want a guy that's going to get hurt after Bradford goes down.
Walking onto the field.
Yeah. Of course, that Texans field, that's a possibility.
Yeah, I have a take on the AstroTurf.
But
man.
we're going,
We'll tackle that later.
let's talk, Kunta Kinte? Keke Coutee?
Keke Coutee.
Fading out of the shot.
Keke Coutee. Yeah. Clayton, give us your best stuff on Keke Coutee.
Kuchiev.
I think he's. I think what they're telling Braxton Miller is, this is the you're supposed to be our slot, and you haven't done it. And I think honestly, Coutee could take his job and be the slot. And I think with Deshaun Watson going to spread the ball, it all depends on Watson obviously being healthy. But with him healthy out there spreading the ball around, and when he breaks contain, on the fly, Coutee, I think he's going to benefit a lot. The short slants, one of his strengths, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
And taking him to the house. I'm not saying he's just going to take every one of his gone every time. I'm just saying that's the potential
Here
there.
comes the screen again.
That's why I like him. I'm not saying I'm going to jump and draft him in the first round, but I think as a late round sleeper, I like him.
I do too, especially for those people that have developmental players and practice squad, whatever you guys call them.
Mm-hmm.
I like him for that. I'm not looking for him to produce right off the back, but it goes back to him. When Deshaun Watson's able to, lay out the play, extend the play and all that, having that slot is great. And I think that's what Keke's going to be for them. I think they're basically checking out of Braxton Miller. I think they're done with him. They're moving forward. I don't know if I can blame Braxton Miller completely. I don't know if it's the schemes or defense has just covered up the slot a lot better. But either way, he's not producing.
Yeah.
I mean, and you got to go a different
Injured
direction.
a little bit last year. I think
Yeah.
that's the other thing with Coutee. With Braxton's injuries, Will Fuller likes to get injured.
Likes to get injured.
He lives the injured life, and that's why I think he's going to have plenty of opportunity.
There is an opportunity. There is potential. Now I know he's a slot, so I can't really knock him on size. He is a smaller guy, and I don't have enough information on me to make a remark or anything on his durability. As far as I know, it leads that he's good in slot. You get a lot more receptions. PPR, I think long term PPR, this guy's could very well have a lot more potential.
Oh,
Especially with the way Watson spreads the ball, because if Watson's on the field, he makes all of the weapons look better and produce.
Exactly.
Well, it's like Clayton, you and I were discussing. People double team D-Hop, and D-Hop's got a lot of flash, I guess, some heat going into this season. A lot of people are drafting him first in leagues and so on.
Yeah, a lot of dynasty.
But to be honest, you brought this up, Clayton. Will Fuller feeds off the double teams on DeAndre Hopkins, and you looked up the numbers, and he was doing better than Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
What were the stats on that? Do you know?
Do you know them off the top of your head?
I know it was. He was averaging over 21 points a game, and it was outpacing AB. He was the highest scoring wide receiver in fantasy football with those weeks with Watson.
So here's where I'm leading to. He feeds off DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Teams, I know in his first rookie seasons, teams did adjust and kind of had a high end over safety. So, all right, he feeds off, Hop.
Mm-hmm.
Coutee can feed off the double teams on Fuller.
And you got the single coverage.
Yeah,
And there you go.
yeah. I mean, there's some potential there, man. There really is. I mean, because it's something that
That's your dark horse sleeper.
It is.
And if you grab him in your draft, and then everybody's like, dude, how'd you know? You know.
You're like, I listen to DynastyWise.com podcast.
Yeah.
thank you for listening.
They know everything.
Future, thank you.
Yeah. All right, Pat, let's travel over to San Francisco.
Let's do it.
And why don't we talk about Dante Pettis? What do you got there?
I'm really, really big on this right now.
Really?
Yeah. Garoppolo's getting so much hype right now, and
Gallup and Jimmy.
Yeah, it's tough because old Jimmy over there is doing some good things, but
Jimmy GQ.
and you can't knock what he did. And now you're giving him more weapons, and Pettis is a good weapon to have. He's a little speedster. Ran a 4.49 or 4.4. I mean, it was 4.43. I mean, he's solid. And again, they're weak at wide receivers right now. And that's a problem. I mean, Garoppolo did what he had with a mediocre weaponry.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't anything stellar. I mean, he had a little bit of help, but even Carlos Hyde was the only bright star over there for a long time, and that's no knock on Carlos Hyde. He's a good running back, but he's a little above average. I would give him.
Oh, yeah.
When he's the bright star, and that's what you're going to, that's a problem. But you notice that Carlos Hyde started fading out. His season got a little bit weaker and weaker, and then he wasn't producing much. But that's because Garoppolo could throw the ball around, and that's where Pettis is going to have. He's going to be, to me, he's a huge weapon, and he's going to go from an added weapon to being detrimental to the offense, I believe. Or being a huge part of it.
I agree. They drafted him early, second round for a reason. He went before a lot of receivers that, he took a lot of people by surprise. They took when they drafted him. But he's versatile. I think they're going to put him back there to return kicks as well. I think he broke Deshaun Jackson's Pac-12 record for career return touchdowns. So I mean, I like it. I like it's. And more or less, I like what Jimmy's doing, but I like Shanahan as an offensive mind.
Yeah.
That's why he gets bonus points there. And I think, if you read another article about Dynasty Wise about some tight end, George Kittle, I think he's going to take a step forward, and that'll help Pettis. I think, develop. And, they have Godwin, but I think Pettis, almost their wide receiver too.
Yeah.
Straight
out of before, I mean, I mean.
He's got a chance.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so much, but again, opportunity, potential. I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's
opportunity. I know we said a million times, but he has a lot of opportunity.
But I know we talk about it, but you've got to look at that.
Yeah.
As when you're looking at your dynasty teams, you have to be looking at the opportunities that they have. If they don't have any opportunities, like, oh well, he's going to ride the bench a couple years. Well, I mean, then he can stay. You don't need to draft him. I mean, unless you're going to let him do that. But Jeff has a take.
Oh yes, I do. Well, you look back at Shanahan, and you mentioned, look at Deshaun Jackson. He's not a big guy. And then, if you ask me, Dante Pettis also reminds me of Santana Moss, who's with the Redskins. I mean, same build, same frame. It's definitely a Shanahan type of receiver. So, Clayton, I think you hit the nail on the head with Shanahan. This might be a Shanahan type receiver. They obviously you can't pass up on Edmonds. I believe they got Edmonds in the first round, linebacker. I mean, that guy's just a monster. I mean, 6'5", 250 linebacker.
We are definitely going to be discussing him during IDP week.
So you take him in the first, and you do want to get a weapon for Jimmy. And, Pettis could be the guy.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco, they're moving and shaking. I mean, Garoppolo did great things. Again, I'll go back to it. You give him a solid weapon, till at least the first half of the season. He's going to be, Pettis is going to be productive before defenses get a good look at him, and then once they start playing a division, maybe that second game in the division, they're going to start covering him and all that. But there's so much potential there, especially landing spot. And Clay, you hit it just right. I mean, let's say he was at a 6, or whatever. We'll say a 6, but the fact that Garoppolo puts him at an 8. Yeah. The fact that Shanahan's there puts him at a 9.
Right.
There's little things that are giving him extra points to the value.
My bold prediction is
he
blows his knee out in preseason.
Dang,
that's fouled up. Well, that'll be fine. I can just stash him on my.
Well, that's why we have practice squads.
That's right, or taxi squads.
Taxi squad.
All right, let's go down to the great state of Texas.
Yeehaw.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Deep in the heart. I'm by myself.
What?
I heard you clap. I was singing it.
I was clapping. I don't know. That's
sorry.
damn embarrassment. We can't sing "The Stars at Night" are big
Big
and
and
bright.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
I gotta have someone sing. You and Chad sing that one song.
Oh, Chattahoochee.
Yeah. But we're going to talk Dallas Cowboys. Boo. I mean,
They're not Texas.
no, they're not. Anything north of Conroe is Yankee territory.
Boom.
But,
That was just said.
yes.
That's southern Oklahoma.
But yeah. but we got Gallup.
Yeah.
The Gallup poll. They needed a receiver.
I called it. I mean, I'm gonna say it one more time. I knew they were going to let go of Des Bryant. I wasn't sure if they were going to try to. I wasn't sure if they were going to try to go out and trade, or or get something. But it's Gallup the next Des Bryant. Des Bryant had a good couple of years in there, and then they figured him out that he could run 3 routes, and that was it. It's like, oh, he's all right. He's going to run.
I mean, they did bring in Alan Hearns, which
That is true. I forgot.
I mean, he's not bad.
No, there's potential there too.
And then with the other wide receiver, Terrence Williams, he crashed a Lamborghini. I don't know if he was, I'm sure more will come out. He might been drunk or whatever happened, so you never know with
Bold
discipline.
prediction.
But he still hasn't. But he still
Cowboys.
hasn't proved anything. So why can't Gallup come in here opportunity again? I will say this with most of these receivers. Why do I like this guy? I like the opportunity. Dak may not be an elite fantasy quarterback, but
David Carr embarrassed him.
Oh, I saw it.
National TV.
What did he say?
It was
They
they
were
were throwing the football.
They're throwing this football at this little target, and
Yeah.
it goes all the way down, and Carr drilled it every time, and Dak was missing by 4 yards.
Oh wow.
Oh,
It
it was
was
God. It's
horrible.
like God. If David Carr played behind Dallas's lines, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
That's
Yeah.
and that's honestly, I mean, it's on subject, off subject, but that's been my biggest knock on Dak. Dak had a great season. Now, I'm not taking that season away from him. Him, Ezekiel Elliott, they all, I think even Des Bryant, they all had a good season that season. But I hate to say it, man, the NFL is evolving constantly. They figure out how to play you, man. And
I
once
like Dak though.
I do as a person. I like him. I think he's a good team leader. I'm not gonna. That he needed help.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He
Yeah,
needs
he
help.
did.
Dez wasn't getting open anymore.
No.
Williams, he's okay.
Beasley is solid at
Yeah.
slot.
Yeah.
But he still needs a Gallup. I think Gallup.
Gallup could be the guy.
They want
I'm not
him- I
saying
think
he's
they
tight
want
end,
him
but they
to-
lost Witten.
that
Someone's
you-
got to get those catches.
Dez and Witten are gone, so they need those catches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you brought in Hearns, but
Herman's a solid.
that's what I'm saying. He's not a bad wide receiver, but you need at least 2 solid
He's at
receivers.
He's at least playing some downs. You're not beating Cole Beasley out in slot, but you could come in packages where you take Williams out and you put Gallup in.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I see.
Yeah, I mean, and he's Gallup's got him. He's about average size. I guess what is he 6'1" or something like that.
Yeah, 6'1", about 200 pounds.
Yeah, so he's right up there where you kind of, he's not a monster like Des Bryant was, but then again, letting go of Des Bryant and moving on was one of the best moves they made because Des Bryant, again, you needed that versatility that you just couldn't get out of Des Bryant.
Yeah.
I mean, Des Bryant would fight. The guy with the dude was a scrapper, man. I mean, he would fight for every single yard. I can't take that away from him. But he just
And he grew up. He grew up from being kind of a immature kid. He grew up to where he was,
I think his teammates love him.
I mean, when he broke his foot, he was getting yelled at by the training staff because this is when Dak's rookie season, he was hopping back. He was hopping back out to go out there to be with his teammates, and the training staff is flipping hats.
yeah.
So I mean, you make it's Des Bryant. What did your dad do? My daddy was a pimp. What did your mama do? My mama worked for my daddy, and then they go, your mama's a prostitute. Then he's out going, man, he called my mom a prostitute. I'm like, MFer, you just described a prostitute,
Yeah.
But he improved. But yeah, you're right. He kind of had to go. Dallas needs to move on from him, and
They drafted Gallup to replace Des
they
Bryant.
got to Dallas is in a half rebuilding mode.
But it's a scary league when Sammy Watkins has a job and Des Bryant doesn't.
But based on the year Sammy Watkins had, and
I mean,
That's why.
That's also age,
Yeah.
as Brian's older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Yeah, I mean,
I
that's-
still take those, Brian.
any day of the week. I mean, honestly, I would take almost any wide receiver over Sammy Watkins. And Sammy Watkins just got signed to the biggest deal, and that's what I'm. Anyways, I don't.
Twitter
wanna get
loves them
Right.
some Sammy Watkins.
They
By
do.
the way. But
All right, well, let's fly up to the Windy City, Chicago.
That's a good sound effect.
Yeah, it was awesome. We got
Did that with-
production in this now.
Did that with my mouth.
Well,
that's
let's.
not the only thing you do with that mouth.
Oh,
Turn his mic off. Turn it off.
I can't reach.
Dude, we were having fun, and
You took it too far.
I'm uncomfortable.
Always go
Let me
too
just
far.
unplug it. No, but Anthony Miller. Clayton, why don't you give us a little takes on Anthony Miller?
Yeah, Clayton Weinstein. Tell me.
You know, he's out of Memphis. I like Anthony Miller. You know, he's about 5'11", 200 pounds. Once again, my favorite word of this podcast is opportunity.
If I hear it one more time, I'm gonna
Right.
leave.
I'm there with you, but they got the young quarterback. I think Biscuits is going to take the neck, show us a little bit more.
Yeah.
They brought in Allen Robinson, but he's coming off of a pretty good injury.
Yeah.
But he's still a good receiver, but they still need other weapons around their young quarterback. Yes, they brought in Trey Burton at tight end. They have Shaheen. And who's their other receiver?
They brought Gabriel.
Oh, yeah, they got Gabriel, but
Well, there's a reason why.
Gabriel's that, he's more of the burner, run down the field. I like Anthony Miller. He could be the steal of your fantasy draft.
So you're putting him with Keke Coutee as this is a sleeper pick, like maybe in your draft you're going like 5th, 6th, 7th round. This is a guy you can steal. Or where is a good place do you feel to draft Anthony Miller?
Man,
I think
he might be a second-round draft pick.
I think he's gonna go.
Really?
I think he's gonna go high, man. I think
With Robinson there, with the way NFL, with the way medical technology and medical knowledge is, it's not like in the past when a guy came off knee surgery, like, he's lost his stuff. They come back bigger, faster, stronger.
PEDs are a mofo, man.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
It goes into where Chicago took him. Chicago took him in the second round. I mean, that's a pretty valuable pick. I mean, and there's other weapons over there. There's other weapons. Dang it, Clay. There's good weapons over there all around. And like you said, a Biscuit. I feel like I wasn't sold on Biscuit. I mean, I'm starting to come around. He's starting to produce, and I think there's potential.
He had
there.
a decent rookie year, but now if you want him to take that next step, you bring in more weapons like a Anthony Miller. I like it.
I think the second round pick he may fall. I just feel like if he should be on your radar.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially in a dynasty, dynasty league and all that stuff. But if he's not, I think he's going to go earlier than people are, projecting. I mean, he may sneak up into there are some other wide receivers, but I think the second round of most people's draft is going to be heavy wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take him in the first round.
No.
Most, depending on how big your league is, if it's if it's 14 teams, you're looking at, early second round that you may be looking at taking him to be, if you want him, I recommend him because I think there are some good things over there. I mean, there's again a potential, but Allen Robinson, there's no guarantee. I mean,
Yeah, never know. And
No one's guaranteed.
everybody's
oh
guaranteed.
my, like I
But
said, I like the situation and their new head coach. He was the offensive coordinator at Kansas City last year with that offense and under Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think the potential is there. That's why I'm saying I'd take him in the second round.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, leaving the deep dish pizza, we're going to the Cheeseheads. The Green Bay Packers took a guy I really like, 6'5", 218.
It's a little guy.
Exactly.
It's like Kelvin Benjamin.
I'm going to just screw it up. Enormous St. Brown is what I call him.
Damn.
That's about good.
Yeah,
I
I like
love
it.
this guy. Pat, what do you got on him?
Well, I mean, as far as wide receivers go, I don't know if there is with the exception of New Orleans or New England. I mean, he landed an elite quarterback spot.
He's got A-Rod, drop mic.
That's already, again, it goes back to, he may have been at a 5 or 6, is kind of where you started. All right, with Aaron Rodgers, the way he spreads the ball around, every wide receiver has potential, going over there. With the loss of Jordy Nelson, they've got to do something.
Yeah, I mean, they got Devontae Adams and who everybody's
And
so
Randall
high
Cobb.
on. Yeah, Cobb,
But I mean, you still
where's
lost
after-
Jordy Nelson.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So where are you going after that?
Let's go big. That's exactly what they said. All right, we're gonna go big.
He ran decent, and Michael Irvin was in love with him, and Michael Irvin wasn't doing his usual annoying Michael Irvin saying, "Man, this guy out of Notre Dame, he's really impressing me. Everything he's doing everything right."
See, and that's the only thing I had him going up to like an 8 with Aaron Rodgers, but since Michael Irvin likes him, he's gonna go back down to a 6.
All right.
But they got a good head coach, so we'll go back up to a 7.5.
Okay.
Damn it, Irvin.
But I mean the size.
Irvin?
He's like, it's Notre Dame, dude.
Oh, man. It's Notre Dame, dude. He runs right on that white line.
Look at him go. But there's Green Bay, man. If Aaron Rodgers healthy, come on, man. I mean, you can't. You gotta love the guy for going there.
Yeah, but if Aaron Rodgers goes down, didn't he play a little bit with Deshaun Kaiser at Notre Dame? They would have overlapped.
Yeah.
So the rapport's already there. They're already planning for after Rodgers, bro.
They're playing not Deshaun Geyser. But
Yo,
hey, who
it's
knows?
Deshaun Kaiser.
All right, let's go back over our guys, and I'm gonna ask you where you would see them falling in a new dynasty draft.
Like
all right?
a rookie draft.
Like this is a rookie draft. You're starting out a dynasty league. You don't have a team yet. This is your,
Ooh.
but it's just going to be rookies.
Okay, so-
just rookies.
Okay,
just rookies.
I
Okay.
got you.
All right, DJ Chark. Pat, what round should he go in a just rookie draft?
You're asking.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I messed up that. Yeah, it's a all rookie draft. You've got a team, but DJ Chark,
Okay.
where would you go? Where is he going?
Well, I'm gonna go where I think he's gonna go in leagues as opposed to where I would take him.
Okay, yeah,
Because just my take on wide receivers. I mean, there's definite first round. I'm thinking maybe late first, early second
okay.
for Chark. Based off of our take on the info.
Clayton,
Yeah, depending like 10, 8, 10, 12, 14.
we'll say a 12-team league.
Okay.
12 team,
And then,
okay.
Yeah, then I would say second round.
Okay.
For
Yeah,
him, 14, he may go in the first, but
I wouldn't be surprised if he went in the first.
Okay.
But like I would say early second for me, based on where I have him and other guys, and like I said,
with the other
Okay.
with the running backs,
Running
quarterbacks,
back.
tight ends, and
Yeah.
other stuff out there.
Right. Okay. Let's now go to Courtland Sutton, Pat.
I'd venture to say the first round. I mean, that's another one that I think he's still up there in Denver, but kind of based off what we're talking about, I'm saying again late first, early second. I'll roll it over to maybe I'll roll it out over to a second to me.
Okay. Clayton?
Sutton is probably my 5th wide receiver.
Oh,
So
he's dropping.
he's probably mid to late second.
Okay.
All
right.
because there's just other positions I won't necessarily take.
Yeah.
Before a receiver.
Well, I believe in Case. He's going first round for me.
And is that where you
No,
have
I would put him in the second.
second? Okay.
Maybe the third, because you do have a lot of quality running backs this draft.
Yeah, that's gonna go
The
deep.
quarterbacks have a lot of height behind them. Someone's reaching. So I'm saying a
see,
third.
the quarterback depends on like if 2 quarterback league, quarterbacks are gonna go early, so that'll push everybody back a little bit.
Yeah.
Like your 1 quarterback league,
Yeah.
all these guys should go before most quarterbacks.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But let's go to my guy, who I say is a top 5 pick, DJ Moore. Pat, where do you have him?
That's first round.
First round.
Yeah, that's
for
a first
sure?
round. Yeah, and that may be even. He's one of my even potentially hit between him and probably the next one we're going with. I've definitely to me he's a first round wide receiver, especially in his landing spot in Carolina.
I say he's a first round, and I wouldn't even be surprised if you saw him in that 5 to 8 range.
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
12
that's
team.
I agree with that.
All right, Pat. I don't think we really need to ask you where Calvin Ridley's going to go.
Yeah, that's first. I mean, that's even with the other stuff going on in Atlanta, I still think he's first, and I think he's going to be in that 5-8 range. You're going to have running backs go up.
I
the
think
board
it's either
pretty early.
somebody's either gonna take Moore or Ridley that
Yeah,
early,
that-
and then the
that's-
other ones will be a little couple picks later.
I think he's a second.
a second rounder.
Yeah, I think so.
Could be just because of the competition.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's like, well,
Yeah.
crap,
and that's a valid point. I'm not going to argue.
Damn right. All right. Christian Chark. Chad, number 1 pick. Sorry. Chad's an A&M homer. I'm just kidding. We love you, Chad. Miss you. Chode. Pat, where's Christian Kirk going?
I actually think he's going to go in the first round because of Arizona. I think that there's the opportunity is wide open. Me, depending on where the pick is, I mean, it's not going to be my top 5, top 8. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the 8th pick isn't necessarily a bad spot for him because of you've got Larry Fitz over there, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of other competition. But that's where I've got him. So I think he's going to be a first round.
Clayton?
I'm probably right around there because I'd probably go Moore as my number 1,
Ridley,
Ridley,
2.
and then Kirk's probably 3, and then Chark would be 4. So
Okay. I would have Chark over Kirk. I just think that's set up for him to get that deep ball.
I like. They're kind of like basically even,
Yeah.
honestly, with me. Kirk,
That's true.
Kirk and.
All right, let's switch gears and go over to Clayton for Keke Coutee.
Okay. Oh man, he's so tough because like I like his potential, but like I said, there's just so many guys. Like I'm thinking third round.
Okay.
That's where I think honestly I took him in a startup just because he was there and a rookie, and I think I got him in the 3rd. But even on Twitter, he's 3rd, 3rd, 4th, 3rd. A lot of people grab him in the 3rd.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Probably mid-3rd to me. Mid-3rd, mid to early. I mean, it'd be like first pick in the 4th, but somewhere in that range is where
Depending on when you're drafting, I mean, he can go 3rd to 5th. I mean,
Yeah.
we draft after week 3. We draft after preseason week 3 because the 3rd game in the preseason's the starters play 3 quarters. So I mean, if he's getting more time or equal time as Braxton Miller, that could elevate him to the 3rd. If he's not, you can slide him down to the 5th. But all right, Pat, swing on over to you. Dante Pettis, San Francisco.
I like him. To me, I feel that one's wide open. To me, that's I think he's probably going to go late first, maybe early 2nd, or that's to me where he should be possibly taken. I'm thinking maybe the 2nd round is where he's going to be taken. I would probably take him a little bit earlier because I like the value there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 2nd for me based on the receivers I have ahead of him. So yeah, I'm Pettis. Like I love the opportunity there.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't really get the pick, but like I said, I love Shanahan. I just love his offense,
Yeah.
So,
Right.
That's what moved him up for me.
but opportunity-wise, don't be surprised
Is
at the
it
end
Michael
of the first.
Gallup? Is that his first name?
Michael,
Michael Gallup.
Pat, where's he going? Dallas Cowboys, Michael Gallup.
I think that's going to be more in the 3rd.
Third?
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
going to be in the 3rd. I think that's where he's going to fall. That's where I would probably take him because I think he's going to fall in a lot of places.
Yeah, end of the 2nd, beginning of the 3rd, and well, like I said, this is so early. We got to see how camp battles and stuff go. So I'm sure we'll touch on all these again.
Oh, without a doubt. We'll
But-
be talking veterans with the rookies
But-
now.
And these are probably going
Then-
to change even.
yeah.
And once I honestly even sorry, I don't mean to cut it off. But
Right.
even our conversation, Chark is starting to boggle in my mind
Yeah.
more and more.
Right.
Yeah,
just-
and it depending on your league. Like we do IDP, so we're gonna have defensive players and stuff. But if you're not, you're probably gonna go running back. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these receivers by the middle of the 3rd, they've all been drafted. Or most of these are going in the 2nd. Once most of your running backs go, that's the way at least I play it. I see it.
Yeah.
What about you with Michael Gallup, Pat?
I had him in the 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, I had him in the 3rd.
All right.
What about you, Jeff?
Me, I'm thinking 4th, 5th,
You think?
Okay.
honestly. I think Hearns is better I think he's way better than average.
Yeah.
I think Cole Beasley's underrated, but people know. I mean, he's basically what Cooper Kupp's going to become.
Yeah.
So I just don't see him playing as much. If you think I'm wrong, I always said in one of my articles, you got to trust your own gut. Take your own gut. I'm thinking he's a 5th round guy.
No, and I think it's a great debate and great discussion because we all have different takes on these guys. And someone listening, hey, I agree with Padu, or I agree with Clay, I agree with Jeff. And that's okay.
All right, let's go to you, Clayton, and Anthony Miller in Chicago.
As of right now, since he's probably not on a lot of people's radar, like I said, based on talent and I like him, I'd take Anthony Miller in the 3rd, but I want to be 4th or later, But to me, I'm taking him if he's there at the 3rd, and I'm looking, depending also who's available. But I'm probably going, Anthony Miller in the 3rd. Thank you.
Pat?
I look at him in the 4th. That's more of a later 3rd or early 4th. But still, though, that's where I think he's going to go in most leagues.
I kind of, after listening to you, I kind of think I'd take him around the 4th because I don't know how Taylor Gabriel, he's 27 and he's a speed guy, but he's not a guy you talk about. So there's, that guy might move to 3 just for the, the deep threat. And then you have your Miller and Robinson out there
Yeah.
as your 1-2.
And-
I wouldn't be surprised.
And that's it too. And if Robinson gets hurt,
Yeah.
there's, there again.
It's a high risk,
Yeah.
re-injuring an injury.
Yeah, but you got to go. Obviously, we
Yeah.
got to go based off what we know, and
Right.
what we
Right.
think. And that's what it. I think as it stands right now, I think that's where he's going to go.
I would take Enormous St. Brown in the second. I really would. I really am high on this guy.
Yeah,
I like the guy. Like I say, all kidding aside about Michael Irvin. I mean, what I watched at when I was at the combine, standing next to Michael Irvin, talking to him, this guy impressed me. So I'm real high on Enormous St. Brown. Pat. So I'm saying second.
Yeah, second. I mean, I see him being the fact that he's going to the Packers, and there's a lot of other weapons. I think it's going to be another third and fourth. I do like the conversations we've had about him. I mean, they took him like the 207th pick overall. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, Juju was taken late, and there's a lot of receivers that are
AB
producing.
was like a 5th round pick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's some guys that are producing now that I'd look at him, late third, just because it's new to me, in
Okay.
all honesty.
Yeah, he's a late 2nd, 3rd round for me. Like I said, my list is just high. Yeah, I just got too many
Right.
guys ahead of him.
Okay.
That's
But if
fair.
they're gone,
Take them. All right, folks. Well, we want to thank you for tuning in and listening to our podcast. Again, check us out at DynastyWise.com, and we always will appreciate questions or comments, good or bad, in the in the comment section here on YouTube where we put this. Check us out on Facebook as well. You probably just search Dynasty Wise Fantasy Football.
It pops up.
Clayton, it's at Dynasty Wise
Wise.
Clay.
yep, at DynastyWise Clay. I'll get back to you as soon. DM, tweet at me, or
Right,
at
and
DynastyWise_FF.
And is DynastyWise_Joe or just DynastyWise Joe?
I think it's just not sure.
Well, he's there. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Yes.